In this video, I'm going to teach you the best way to edit your photos for your church's fall event. First, we're just going to start off by importing all our photos into Lightroom. So right now you can see I have this fall bash event that we have every year at our church. Right now I'm just going to show you how you can elevate your photos step by step, especially for low light situations. I know a lot of times with church photography, you're going to be shooting in low light, whether it's the worship services. When you have a nighttime event, such as this, I'm just going to show you some great tips on how you can make these photos look great for your social media and not have to worry about it being too grainy or too dark. So first, I'm just going to show you how you can edit these photos with no presets so that you can follow along. I like to start off with my crop tool and just framing our subjects with our lower thirds just to make sure it's framed nice and well. And I just wanted to mention the best way to get the most out of your photos is shooting in RAW format with your camera. This allows you to get the most data and dynamic range when you edit your photo so that when you make changes to it so it doesn't fall apart as a JPEG image. So I have my exposure up a bit. We can increase my contrast here. You can also play with contrast and the curves section here. A lot of times what people tend to do is making like a S-curve shape, and that's just gonna apply a lot of contrast onto the photo. Or you can also mess with the contrast slider up here. I'm gonna crush our blacks just a tad just because it's already low light. And then I'm gonna increase the whites just to make our subjects pop a little more. Highlights are a big play in low light photography. If I raise it up high, my subjects do get brighter, but you will notice that you can kind of lose detail within the brighter parts of your images. So if I want to see more of the whites in the sweater, if I bring the highlights down, I'll see a lot more of the folds in the sweater are showing. I would say don't be afraid to play and crank your sliders left and right just to see what looks best. I don't want the whites to be too blown out, but I am gonna raise it a bit just so our subjects pop a little bit. And then for the temperature slider, you see we can make our images cooler or we can make them warmer. Me personally, I do like warmer toned photos, not too warm. Just what you can do is select the eyedropper tool and select like a white part of your image and it will adjust the temperature for you. But just from my personal experience as a photographer, I know a lot of people prefer warmer tones within their skin so that their skin doesn't look more dead, like there's no lighting to their skin. So I kind of will get their skin to look a little warmer but not overdo it. So this looks pretty solid right here, where it's not too warm but it's not too dead, because you see if we go to the left, they're gonna lose a lot of skin tones and their skin compared to it being warmer. Just for church photography, you want your edits to be simplistic, but you also want them to pop out and look professional as well. So if your photos are too much on the green side or too much on the purple side, it's just gonna look off. You see if I drag it more to here, it looks very green. You can see the green in their tint. But if we go to our right a bit, their skin tones look really great, and I'm already liking how it's looking so far. If we go to the before and after image, you can see we already have a drastic change just by messing with our basic correction. And now I can go ahead and play with the saturation a bit if I do want our image to look a little bit more colorful and our vibrance. And basically when you edit your photos, all you want to do is that you just want to keep going down your edit tab. Lightroom specifically has it designed in this way just because usually that's how you start when you edit your photos. You mess with your basic correction here, and then you go to your curves, then you go to your temperature, then your colors. The cool thing about the color mixer is that you can specifically edit the color that you have selected. So if I want to take out the reds in my photo, I could dump the saturation down completely, which we don't want to do, so I'm gonna just undo that. But also too, I could just mess with the orange if I just want to affect the orange in my photo. I will say be careful when you mess with the oranges and the yellows and even the reds, because that will apply to the skin tones in your photo. We're just going to keep scrolling down here, and you can see in our effects tab we have texture, clarity, dehaze, vignette. A lot of times I like to soften up the skin in the photos, and we could do that just by bringing the clarity slider down a bit. Again, as my experience as photography, you do not want to increase the clarity slider to the right. Nobody likes to see all the details in their face. That's definitely something you do not want to do. So like, just look at the difference. It just doesn't look friendly. It looks bad. Just keep your photos soft. So I wouldn't go too soft because you still want your person to not look plasticky. But just give it like -24 is like usually the section I'm in. Anywhere from -15, 10, even 24, 25. I won't really go past 30 just because it'll look too soft, and you see we're losing a lot of detail here. but like -24 is great. So yeah, we have our photo here. It looks great. This is the before, this is the after. That to me looks ready to post. We didn't have to use any preset for it and it looks great. So here's our next photo, for example. You can see we still have the sunset coming down, but we also have our subject here kind of shaded, and we're just gonna show how we can keep the sky and also have our subject pop at the same time. I'm just gonna increase the exposure and focus on getting our subject brightened up. And look how much I could bring back just from raising the exposure tab by shooting in raw format. A lot of times, this is an important tip in photography. You always want to underexpose your photos rather than overexpose it. If you overexpose your photo, it's hard to decrease the exposure and bring those details back into your image. So I always recommend always underexpose your photos so that you can edit them and bring them back up in Lightroom. I'm just going to raise the exposure and just focus on our subjects here, and I'm not going to worry about the background and the sky being blown out at all. We'll go ahead and get that back in a bit. I'm just going to crop our photo, frame it nice, increase the contrast. Shadows are going to be a big play just because they're casted in the shadows, but I'm going to also crush the blacks. And then back to our temperature slider. I'm just focusing on their skin tones as of now, just because it looks very washed out. That looks good. I'm just going to increase the highlights and the whites a bit. So this is the before and after. You can see our subject's a lot visible, but we did lose a lot of our sky, so let's go ahead and bring that back. What you can do is select the mask icon. I'm gonna see if we have all these options, but the one I'm gonna use is sky. And that's gonna auto select our sky and put a mask on there. We're just gonna mess with our exposure slider and bring it down. And you can see we got our sky back. And I'm gonna mess with the highlight tab. And that's gonna be where we get most of our image back. And you can see that's already a big difference from our photo, where we kept our sky, we kept that great sunset, and then we got our subject still lit up. I'm also just gonna select the background just because it looks like a little grayed out. I'm just gonna make it warmer just so it matches like that golden hour sunset coming in. So this is the before and this is the after. We completely transformed our photo with no presets at all. This photo is not too grainy, but we know in those dark situations you can see a lot of grain within the photo. So if I zoom in, I'm getting a lot of grain coming in just because it was a low light. But now what we can do with the added noise reduction with the AI, so we're just gonna click that. And you wanna be careful with the setting because you don't wanna increase your denoise too high because your images could come out looking a little too AI generated. They will come out a little plasticky, so I would say just be careful and be mindful. Don't go too crazy with it. It is a cool feature, but we still want our photo to look real. So I don't like to go too extreme with it. 30 is a pretty decent one. It's still gonna have that noise, but you'll see when the photo zooms out, it's gonna make a big difference. So I might go 35 for this one. You can see it cleans up a lot of the grain in the face. I'm gonna enhance, and Lightroom's gonna go ahead and make a copy of the picture, and boom, look at, that's almost a huge difference. It almost looks a little, the 35 might, personally for me, might be too much, but it looks great. It did a great job. Like, this is the before, this is the after. 9-day difference from the photo. And real quick, I just want to show you how we can edit the same photo with the presets from creativesunday.store. They have presets specifically designed for every lighting situation within your church. I'm just going to go to our presets tab and go to the Sunday church presets. You see we have all these presets to choose from, and you can just hover over and see which presets look the best on your photos. You can see we have some that are specifically designed for a group photo. These are for low light. And you can see for these already look great. Like number 5 looks great. I can just click it. It has all the adjustments done for me. You can see it already saved us a lot of time. Just by adding the preset on there, it's good to go. I'm gonna pull up this other photo from our event, pull up our Sunday church presets. I'm gonna go with low light preset 6 here. It does look a little more on the warmer side, so I'm just gonna bring it down a bit. Yeah, this looks great. This is the before and after, just within a matter of seconds. We're gonna keep going. I have my pastor preaching here. I'm just gonna apply the low light preset 6 again. This one's a super grainy one. I'm just gonna increase it. Let's say we wanted to bring the background out, which I do like it with the background dim already, but I'm just gonna click the background mask in our mask tool. I'm gonna increase the background just to show that we're in the parking lot. And yeah, that looks great. And I'm gonna go to our denoise, and I'm going to just keep the amount at 30. And we're gonna let that load. And there's our photo. You can see the background, the grain's almost completely gone. And this is the before and after with using our Sunday presets. Again, these presets are specifically designed to help you with your church's photography. Coming from a creative leader myself that serves in ministry, these are definitely the best assets to help level up your church's social media and Instagram reels. They have everything from overlays, animated subtitles, motion graphics templates, presets, and so much more. If you use the code YouTube at checkout, you'll get 10% off your entire order on top of the 40% launch sale that they're having right now. And there you have it. If this video helped you out, make sure you drop a like and subscribe for more tutorials where I'll be uploading daily.